In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to download .NET 8. I am using a Windows 11 system for this demo. This technique will work for Windows 10 and earlier machines as well. So you can install .NET 8 in various ways. So the two most popular ways I am going to discuss today is through Visual Studio, and another is without using Visual Studio. So people who don't need Visual Studio, there is no need to install Visual Studio in order to install .NET 8. You can actually directly install .NET 8. If you need some software to be installed which has a prerequisite to have .NET 8 in your system, then you can also do it directly by installing .NET 8. So first of all, you need to check which version of .NET you have in your system. So for that, go to command prompt and type .NET --info. Now here you can see the runtimes that are available in my system are of version 6. I don't have .NET 8 here. So now what I'm going to do is install .NET 8. So for that, go to any search engine and there type .NET download. So this page will come up here. Click on this. In this page, go to all .NET 8.0 downloads. So now we are in the .NET 8.0 download page. You can see there is a SDK, which is a standard development kit on the left hand side, and there are runtimes. So there are three runtimes: ASP.NET Core Runtime, .NET Desktop Runtime, and .NET Runtime. Now .NET Runtime contains some files or components which are used to run a console application. But this .NET Runtime is also needed by .NET Desktop Runtimes or .NET Desktop Runtimes and ASP.NET Core Runtimes or applications, right? So they will need this .NET Runtime. So ideally, you install either ASP.NET Core Runtime and .NET Runtime, or if you are developing using desktop application, you may need both desktop and this .NET Runtime here. So instead of getting confused with these runtimes, it is better to install SDK. SDK contains all these things, right? So you just download SDK and install all these three runtimes. So whichever application wants to use these runtimes, it will be available in your system, and so it will be easy for you. So the application will work as intended. Now you can see here, so in terms of Visual Studio 2022 supports .NET 8. If you have a 64 based operating system or 86 based operating system, depending on what you have, you can click. Most of the times, like Windows 11 is a 64-bit, Windows 10 is also a 64-bit system. So 64-bit systems, so this particular runtime x64 will work for your machines. If you have a Mac OS or if you have a Linux machine, then you have to use these runtimes here. So let's click on this x64. Now it is getting saved to my download folder. So the .NET SDK has been downloaded. You can see this particular file here. So double click this. Now click on this install button. So now the SDK has been installed. So you can see here it is saying that all these runtimes has been installed. If you want to look at the documentation, here are the links. You can go there and look at the documentations. So let's close this. Now come back to your command prompt and let's see if the .NET 8.0 version has been installed or not. Now you can see in the versions it is coming up as 8.0, and it is also saying that these are the runtimes which has been installed. So it means .NET 8 installation has been successful. Now this is one technique. Now another technique to install .NET 8 is through Visual Studio. Now this is mostly for the .NET developers. So if you are a .NET developer then and you don't have .NET 8, it means you don't have the latest version of Visual Studio. So the trick here to install .NET 8 is just to upgrade your Visual Studio 2022. Okay, or if you don't have Visual Studio 2022, download Visual Studio 2022 and install it in your system, and you will automatically get .NET 8. So in order to download Visual Studio 2022, so again go to your browser and search for download Visual Studio 2022. So click on this link, and here you can see there are different options available. So these two are licensed versions, but the community edition is free. So click on the community edition, and it will ask you to save it again to your local file. So save it, and then go here, double click this. So click on continue, and then Visual Studio installer has been now installed successfully. And once Visual Studio installer has been successfully installed, through Visual Studio installer, it will upgrade, or it will download Visual Studio and it will install it in your system. Now on my system, I already have Visual Studio Community Edition, so it is asking me whether I want to update it. So if you don't have Visual Studio, then it will provide you an option to install Visual Studio 2022, and you can then install it through this installer. So that's the easiest way to install .NET 8. Now another way to install .NET 8 is, let's say you do not, you have a older version of Visual Studio, right? So you don't want to upgrade due to some reason. Then in that case, you can go to your installer, Visual Studio installer, and click on this modify icon here. Then go to individual components. Here you can see all these different runtimes available, right? So you can select this runtime, .NET 8.0 runtime, and this will get automatically added or installed in your machine. So similarly, you can, if you want to install any other runtimes or framework or older things, you can do it, or even newer things, right? So anything, so any .NET component, everything will be available under this heading .NET, and all these .NET related components will be available here. So that is another way of installing .NET. Now once you do that, click on this modify here, and then the .NET 8 latest version will get updated. So now the .NET 8 has been updated on my system. Now once again I'm repeating, if you are a .NET developer and you have Visual Studio, then always upgrade your Visual Studio so that .NET 8 gets installed. If you don't want to upgrade your Visual Studio, then go to this modify and components, and then from there you do it individually by selecting the particular .NET version which you want to install. If you are not a .NET developer, then and you don't need Visual Studio, then follow the steps which I have mentioned in the beginning of the tutorial, where you directly go to the Microsoft site, and then from there download and double click the installer, and then install .NET 8 in your system. So these are the two most simple techniques. There's another technique where you can download .NET 8 using a PowerShell script. I will show you briefly how to do it. So you have to go back to this site. So let's go back to our earlier page. So in this page, I showed you this earlier. So this is the page where you have .NET 8 runtimes. So here you can see .NET install scripts. So if you click this, you will find few links here. So one of this link is called as this PowerShell's link, right? So click on this link, and it will download a PowerShell script file to your local computer. So click on save, and then once it is downloaded, you open PowerShell, and then you can execute that script, or you can directly go there. And so you can see here this PowerShell, this is the PowerShell script. If you right click and run with PowerShell, then it will run this execute this script, and as part of that it will download .NET 8 and it will install in your system. So that is another technique to install .NET 8 in your system. Hope this video has been helpful to you. So if so, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching.